So, hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the normal duel, or the normal rarity duel trial event. And I gotta say, I think the normal rarity kind of festival was probably one of the worst festivals, just straight up for me. Well, it was probably because, well, the experience might vary because different ranks would put you versus different people, and I was against Giga tryhards the whole time. So essentially, it was a tier zero format as far as I'm concerned, or the tier ones were just so far and above everything else that you didn't really have many super good strategies. So all right, let's take a look at the loners before we get into that. So all right, Rex Onslaught. Um, what's the plan here? Mega Trilla. So you summoning big dinos, I guess? Do any of these guys do anything? I don't think so, right? These guys look pretty crap. I'm not going to bother reading them. Maybe one of them is kind of decent, I guess. Uh-huh. Destroy it. That only destroys one monster, okay? Drakbeba, uh-huh. Yeah, okay, whatever. Shadowy Sea Squad, I think. If you don't open Giant Ballpark, isn't this entire deck just kind of like trash? Like just in general? Considering what you can actually do in NR, I think a lot of these decks are kind of trash. Like this one, not that great either. I mean, this is probably the best one so far, though. At least that's something. Hmm. Scale Bomber is okay, I guess. All right. Elusive Illusions. I guess the idea here is that these guys can't be destroyed by battle. So this is also pretty trash then. Yeah. Okay. So that's just some illusion deck that's probably trying to stall a bit. Well, I'll show you guys what I've just ended up building for the time being and some other strategies that you can run for the event. And overall, why normal rare sucks. So first off, look at this. They limited Megalithal and Bether. Not a big deal. Let's see if my replays still exist, if they're still live. Let's see. Oh, still working. Why not? All right. Let's check them out real quick. They're not that interesting, but Megalith is just stupid. So here you can see I'm kind of bricked. Not much I can do with this hand. So my opponent's going to activate Pacifist. And okay, I'll just normal summon Zaphian. But they're playing Paleo Pacifist, I guess. So we'll do this now. And okay, I guess I don't get to activate that. I don't get to activate that either. Spiral Battle. I'm not sure if Spiral Battle is limited, but I want to assume it is because they never searched another Spiral Battle, which I found kind of weird. But okay. They add a negate right there, and we're just chilling. Okay, now that I have top deck Manju, normal summon Manju, attempt to negate Manju, tribute Manju, and here this does nothing. It's going to equip something, I think. Yeah, does nothing. Okay, second Spiral Battle actually. Tribute, special summon Bether. Actually, I should have, I think the correct summon wasn't even necessarily that one. I think the better one was to do Oviel and then activate Portal. But you know, it is what it is, so now we're going to pop those two. We're going to activate the Portal. Chill. Small misplay because Megalith is actually somewhat complicated to play, but you know, what's my opponent gonna do about it? And this set, I know what this is actually. This is a Book of Moon. It doesn't really do much here, does it? So, yep, just waiting, and aha, Incantation Talisman. This allows me to add back to my hand the foul egg, and we're just going to target this. Ah, right, Canadia. That's what it was exactly. Okay. So now we're going to tribute this, special summon Ophiel. This triggers the field spell as well, so I can add back full. And now it's just game. Like, what are you going to do about this? And Bether being at 1 and full being at 1, irrelevant. You can recycle these guys, no problem. So we're going to tribute Bether, get that off the field, summon Phalag. So right now we're not going to go for recycling the Bether because it just doesn't matter. So instead, we'll summon a double Phalag. And the reason behind this is I just want to make Spiral Crash not activatable, so cool. Just on the off chance they can summon a kind of big guy. Yeah, because that'd be annoying. That's about it, really. So, yeah. Not, like, that great because I misplayed. If I played it correctly, it would have went a little bit better, I suppose. So technically, with hindsight, I should have passed turn and then normal summoned maybe the next turn, but because I top decked what I did, I think the normal summon was not that incorrect. Maybe it would have been just better if... I don't know. Well, it still worked out alright. Okay, so here, we're just going to essentially full combo. Hageth. Tribute. Full. Full. Adds. Back Phalag. Tribute. Zaphion. Ophiel. Ophiel effect. Hageth. Special summon Hageth. Hageth effect is search. Not hard once per turn. No hard once per turn on Hageth or Meglyph Ophiel. We're going to grab Emergence. And now our opponent scoops after reload. But I mean, there's genuinely nothing they can do. Even if full was negated, this does not matter in the slightest. Because you would have to out full twice or Hageth twice. And I still have all these cards, you know, it's not really problematic for me. And scoop phase. Cool. Also, the Meglyphs are kind of just big guys in general. So if you're not playing a adequate enough strategy, then you really have nothing, right? And if I recall correctly, this guy was on some generator nonsense with boss stage at 1. And Planet Pathfinder's also at 1. So his strategy's just cooked. Anyways, so okay. And then here, I am going to once again misplay. Well, actually, I think in the second game I didn't necessarily misplay. I think I could have like done something different, but I'm not 100% sure it would be that much better. But here I 100% misplay and I get away with it. All right. Effect. Tribute all these guys. Meglyph. Hageth. I searched the wrong Meglyph. Hageth is actually useless here. What am I going to do with Hageth? Normally Hageth is fine because you would go grab Unformed, and then you would be able to special summon a full, grabbing back Hageth, then grabbing Ophiel, right? And that's fine. But, oh, right. This is limited. Well, that's not great, is it? So, okay. Then, well, what can I actually do then? Well, but we're grabbing a copy of Unformed and we're passing back. Yep. These guys still add up to level 18 at least, so that's something. Flagship but Corn. Corn effect sending Hageth. And then just set pass. And as it happens, like flip effects also don't really work on this deck, you know, just funny enough. Okay, so we'll normal summon this Time Lord here. And we have Emergent set. Yep, nothing I can really do here. And here is where I make the first misplay. So I didn't realize Portal effect over here is on any time a Meglyph monster is special summoned. I thought it was when they were ritual summoned for some reason. So right now, the reason I haven't activated Portal is I am concerned about the back row. That's it, really. So we're just going to go Bether Pop. So right here, what I'm doing right now, I think is still technically correct because they end up having Typhoon in the back row. So right now, if I activate Megalith Portal and then activate the effect of Emergence, I can special summon Hagith, and this will trigger the field spell, allowing me to add full, and then I can use Hagith effect to ritual summon full, add back Hagith, tribute for Ophiel, and then, you know, that's something. But no, we're just going to activate the portal. And our opponent can't really do anything about this. And we're not really doing anything either. Yeah. And we just stopped deck Torrential Tribute, so I guess I'll set that. And then on normal summon, we'll just pop the entire field, and then I will summon Bether back in order to kind of, in end phase right here, in order to chump block. And then I realized, oh, wait, I didn't read this card. I can actually add back a Ritual Monster. But this is how low power my opponent's decks are, so it's like, whatever, right? And then we do the play with, well, we first of all get rid of that Pokemon, but secondly, we would just Hagif bring back and then do the play I could have done like a turn or two ago. Well, oops, I guess. But okay. The basic idea for Megalith is essentially to just special summon Megalith full, and that's what you want to end on, and if possible, you want to grab an Emergence. So you want to cycle a good amount as well. So if I go Ophiel, I will then go Hagif instead of just going directly into full. The reasoning behind this is so I can go Hagif into full and then into Hagif again to get as many like names as possible for Bether, because Bether's pop is based on if this card is ritual summon, and also how many different ritual monsters you have in your graveyard. So if I have 3, that is a pop 3 quick effect, more or less, on summon, quick effect, whatever, which is absolutely brutal. And also with consistency cards, I have Manju of the 10,000 hands and Senju of the 1,000 hands, which both on normal summon allow me to add a ritual monster, so it can add whatever Megalith I guess I want, right? And then we have Incantation Pensaplume. So this has the effect where if it's special summoned from the deck, I can add a ritual monster from my graveyard to my hand. And then we have Talismandra, which can add a ritual monster from my deck to my hand. And this makes that like misplay in that other duel super terrible, because I was supposed to add Ophiel so I could activate Talismandra to then special summon the Pensive Bloom. Yeah, so I was supposed to do that to add back my copy of Fold in that one duel. So big misplay, but never punished, because how do you punish Megalith when you're playing a garbage deck comparison to this? And for backer removal, I just threw in 3 Zaphion the Time Lords because, like, what are you going to do about this? Realistically, right? I can just normal summon this, and this is just like essentially a Harpy's Feather Duster. This doesn't even work on my own back row for whatever reason. So yeah, a pretty decent card overall, I'd say. And it's not even destructible, which plays around Torrential, which is at 3. So yeah, there's that idea. And then I threw in Metaion because this is like, well, if you think about it, right, this is like a ghetto Raigeki, and then this is like a ghetto Duster, you know? So yeah, that's why they're here. And then I still also threw in 3 Mystical Space Typhoon because, yeah, 3 Torrential. And then you have like Generator, technically, like that field spell, that's annoying. And then we have Pacifist. I'm not sure if they limited anything with this. Seems like the answer is not really. It's just C stealth attack for whatever reason. Okay, I guess. That means Spiral Battles at 3? Yep, okay. So, yeah, just having back row removal is nice, and not a whole lot more to say about that. But yeah, with the effects of Emergence, Portal, Bull, and then like Bether. But once you've got all this set up, this is pretty hard to out. So to out this, you need back row removal, monster removal, and I mean technically their kaiju's legal, but how do you out kaiju's? Hmm. Is that something like a Metaon, I guess? Well, good luck drawing all that, but anyways, this deck's also like hyper consistent. If I just draw a random hand, I'm pretty sure it's combo. And yeah, this is combo. There are no hand traps. Normal summon Senju, grabbing just Thalag, I guess, because Bether's that one. Then we can, I guess, tribute Hagith to special summon Hagith, and then we can save Senju as our normal summon for next turn, because if we want a normal summon a Time Lord, we would have to tribute summon, which I guess is like still kind of fine. But alright. Now that I think about it, I could technically play Book of Moons to flip over my own Time Lords to make them stay on the field longer, which I think is something you might have done before. When this event used to be like 30, 40 turn duels because of Time Lord. Like, the Time Lords didn't really do a lot to you, but you couldn't do much to them. So usually you would end up scooping because you don't want to sit here for like 30 minutes playing against Time Lord with Triple Torrential and Lightning Vortex. Also a 3. Pretty miserable experience, all things considered. But yeah. With this hand, we have Hagith, which adds us Unformed. Unformed allows us to special summon Full. Full adds back Hagith. Grabbing Ophiel, which will grab us our third copy of Hagith, which will then grab us Megalithe Emergence or Portal. Here I would usually go Emergence because, if for whatever reason I do get hit by like some form of removal, I can still bring back Full, tribute like the Zaphion, I guess, for a Bether or Phalag. And we're absolutely just chilling from there. So yeah. And in this case, we can do up to, I believe it should be like pop 4. Well, is it pop 4? No, it should be pop 1, 2, pop 3, because we have Phallic and Graveyard. Yeah. So pop 3. And I can do this practically every single turn as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, that's not going to feel very fair. Hell, I could do like special summon Crush Sheep using like two of my guys here. One of them being Bether, bring back Bether with Emergence, link up Bether again, and then with the effect of Emergence. Well, it doesn't have to be Emergence. I could also use technically Portal, but with the effect of Emergence, any monster that I special summon with this will get shuffled back when it leaves the field. And when it gets shuffled back, that means I can special summon it. Well, in this case, ritual summon it again, and then activate the effects again. So, yeah, that's great, I guess. But, okay. If we're going to be taking a look at this, then the next thing, I guess, is, well, what other strategies might there be? Well, I don't know all of them because I haven't been keeping up with normal, rare, I guess. But in general, if I recall correctly, in normal rare, just kind of just, I guess it would be like, it's not so much an event, more like format, I guess, yeah. So in the normal rare format, if I recall correctly, Megalithe is probably just straight up banned because it's just so far and above everything else. I don't know if anything new has really taken root here, but Megalithe has consistently been one of the most disgusting strategies because, yeah, it just ended up being entirely like the whole archetype is normal rare. There aren't that many archetypes that are like literally just completely normal rare with every single one of their key cards to the point where it's like, okay, what do I do against this? There's like literally nothing you can do against this. So, yeah, cool. But for another deck that is pretty solid in my opinion, we have Vendread. So Vendread has a lot of advantages to the point where you would need to actually kaiju them. So we have Revendread Slayer, and that is our only Vendread, but this is fine. So if we special summon Revendread Slayer, we can special summon it with a few different options. We can do Vendread Houndhorde plus Vendread Revenants, and this would make our Revendread Slayer have a quick effect banish monster. Specifically, it is a special summon monster, but still pretty solid regardless. And quick effect banish a spell trap your opponent controls. And then you have protection with Revendread Origin, preventing your Revendread Slayer from being destroyed. Notice anything? There's no hard once per turn on this card at all. No once per turn at all. So if I have all three origins, you'll have to destroy my Revendread Slayer 3 times. And also, of course, I can just special summon Revendread Slayer again. And I can also have multiple Revendread Slayers made with technically Revenants and Houndhorde. And also I have Scarlet Vendread, which is a decently sized monster that will just come back pretty consistently. And of course, having consistent quick effect backer removal that's on a monster that's hard to remove beats some of those other strategies we might have seen earlier with Pacifist and Generator. So pretty solid in general is just Revendread, I guess, right? And in terms of removal, you do have some in archetype kind of like built-in removal. So we have Reorigin, which is pretty good. This is searchable and would beat an assortment of different decks, right? Target a face-up monster your opponent controls that has a level attributed, and if you do, special summon a Vendread token. So yeah, that's just pretty effective on adding a lot of things. And there's not that much else to say about Vendread, I suppose. I guess if you use Core, I don't know why Core is limited, but well, non-targeted removal, there's not that much. So if we were to make our Slayer with the core, it's fairly hard to out, simply because how are you going to out an untargetable monster that cannot be destroyed? And this is cannot be destroyed by battle nor card effect. Not that I think you can get that far necessarily, but yeah, pretty strong stuff. And I guess you also have technically Daybreak, which you could do, which is interesting. It cannot attack directly while it remains face up on the field line. It's kind of weird though. So that's something. And you could technically summon a second one, I guess, if we use Reunion, maybe? I don't know if we have the levels to set up Reunion. I don't think so, right? Oh, actually, it's possible with Sturges and Revenants, I guess. We have Anima as well, which is pretty nice. Does this... It can send itself, yeah. But that doesn't matter because you and Ritual summon these guys back from the graveyard. So after you get one Slayer in rotation, it's pretty hard to stop you from special summoning Slayer. So Vendread, pretty solid as well. And then like for the final strategy, that's like part of I guess what I would consider the tier 1 or just the highest tiers of normal rarity. It's just Time Lords. So Time Lords, you have 3 copies of Zavian, which are disgusting. You have 3 copies of Metaion. And then, what is this? If this card battle shuffles May, cards your opponent controls as possible into the decks, then they draw cards equal to the number shuffled into their main deck. This actually isn't that bad. It kind of like depends. Gabrion's pretty decent, I suppose. And then we have Infinite Machine. So real quick, let's check this. Infinite Machine grabs Infinite Light. Infinite Light sends Infinite Machine. Either player can target Time Lord monsters you control with card effects or return Time Lord monsters from the field to the deck. So if you have access to this, you can special summon any Time Lord and then it just sticks on field forever. And if you out the Time Lord, technically then you can Infinite Machine. And if you incorporate like Book of Moon effects, this would be really annoying. This says what? If you control no monsters. Oh, it's no monsters. Alright. Maybe not as bad. So, alright. You would have to technically tribute summon for the Time Lords then if you want more than one Time Lord at a time. But still, fairly annoying strategy to deal with for a variety of reasons. And of course, all the Time Lords will just keep recycling themselves, so pretty hard to deal with. So for Vendred, I guess you would have to use the trap to tribute Time Lord. That would be like mandatory. Aside from that, I guess we could also kind of kaiju or just wait till they don't have Time Lords and then punch them and keep repeating. Well, yeah, that's pretty annoying, I guess. What effect did this one have? Have your opponent's life points. This one is your opponent draws a card, inflict 1,000 damage. Shuffle all cards from your opponent's graveyard into the deck. That can be annoying sometimes. If your life points is less than 4,000, become 4,000. This one's like the most useless one, I think. If your life point is lower than your opponent's, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference. So this brings down your opponent's life points to your life points. Then Camion. Shuffle one card your opponent controls into the deck. Can also burn and cannot be responded to. Not that that really matters, but still fairly annoying. I guess one of the things you can do about Time Lords is if they don't play their zones right, you can Geonator them. If your deck is even capable of making Geonator, because, you know, normal rare only. So, yeah. I in general just hate the format of normal rare, but yeah, like, what is anyone supposed to do about Megalith? Aside from play Time Lords, that can't be destroyed at all, which then you can use to hopefully try to out some Megalith cards. But of course, Megalith has a lot of just, well, good recycling, so this sounds like a hellhole, where you're just trying to pop the back row, but they're trying to use the back row to remove your monsters. And also, like, your monsters can just be removed at any moment by, like, a normal summon Time Lord, unless you have, like, specific out to it. Great. Just epic. And now that I think about it, this card actually might not be that bad now. I mean, this would still be annoying to do, but technically we can move a card to a Geonator zone if they're not in one. So this is only useful for specifically Time Lords, I guess. And I can't think of any other reason you would do this. But yeah, I guess that's an idea. There might be some text I haven't really figured out yet, or that I just haven't really done enough research on, because I don't even like this format to begin with. But yeah, in my opinion, this is pretty much the same vibes as playing against like Stun Blick. It's the same kind of grindy game where it's not so clear if you will win or lose, but it is very time consuming. And in general, not really that fun. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.